In a time of fire, you worship a god, and idols fill the temples, and conflicts divide the great empires. Humanity was lost in the darkness of ignorance and misguidance. But in the midst of this darkness, a man emerged from his life, a journey unlike any other journey. From the land of Pharaohs, where he was born in the arms of the leader of a tribe that did not lack anything, to Sham, where he continued his search for the truth. This is the story of Salman Al-Farsi, a man who came to Yathrib, where he found the light he had always dreamed of. A journey full of suffering, he was stripped of his freedom and became a slave to the king. However, he did not give up on his goal, which was to seek the truth. So what made him leave everything behind him? And how did he move from being a slave to being one of the greatest pillars of Islam? Discover with us the story of Salman Al-Farsi, the man who lived to become a symbol of patience and certainty, and an icon for the search for the truth. Salman Al-Farsi, may Allah be pleased with him, was from the city of Isfahan in Persia, the son of a man who was the leader of a village called G. Salman grew up in a family that was devoted to the worship of fire, where he was responsible for overseeing a sacred fire in their home that never went out, day or night. His father loved him dearly, so much so that he would lock him in the house and protect him from the outside world. One day, while Salman was on his way to the village to fulfill some tasks, he heard the sound of chanting coming from a Christian church. His curiosity was piqued, and it led him to enter and see what was happening. Salman was astonished by their prayers and rituals, to the point that he felt their religion was better than the fire worship he had grown up with. Salman asked them about the origins of their faith, and they told him that it was in the land of Sham, the Levant. When he returned home, he told his father about his admiration for the Christian religion, and his father became angry and tried to dissuade him from this thought. However, Salman had already made the decision to pursue this new religion. His father did not know that every day, Salman was secretly sneaking away to learn more. One day, he secretly communicated with some Christians and made arrangements to accompany them on a journey to Sham. Thus, Salman began his long journey in search of the truth. Salman arrived in Sham, where he joined the service of one of the monks. He served him and learned the principles of the religion from him, but Salman soon discovered that the monk was taking the alms and collecting gold for himself. Salman despised this man's actions, and after the monk's death, he revealed the truth about him to the people. However, Salman did not stop there. He continued his journey, joining another man who was righteous and pious. Salman lived with him and learned from him, continuing to serve him until that monk also passed away. He then directed him to a righteous man in Mosul. Thus, Salman moved from one place to another, from one world to another, until he eventually found himself with a righteous man in Amoria. When the time of this last man's death approached, he told Salman that a prophet had been sent in the land of the Arabs, and he would be the last of the prophets. He advised Salman to follow him if he could. His passion to see this prophet drove him to join a caravan of Arab traders, but he was betrayed by them and sold as a slave to a Jewish man in Yathrib. Sam lived in Yathrib and began to hear about Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and his call in Mecca. When news of the Prophet's migration to Medina reached him, Salman felt that the time had come to meet him. He took some dates and went to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, to test him according to the signs that his former monks had told him about. He gave him the dates as charity, but the Prophet did not eat them and instead offered them to his companions. Salman returned the next day with another batch of dates as a gift. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, accepted them and ate from them, confirming for Salman that the second sign was true. Finally, Salman came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, looking for the seal of prophethood between his shoulders. When he saw it, he was certain that he had found the truth. He could not contain his joy and fell before the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, crying and thanking Allah. In a moment filled with reverence, Salman Al-Farsi, may Allah be pleased with him, began recounting his long journey to the truth in front of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, listened to him attentively and with kindness. From the very first moment, he welcomed Salman as a brother and a friend, saying the eternal words, "You are from the people of the house, O Salman." These words were a profound affirmation of the true meaning of brotherhood in Islam, where Salman, who had long sought the truth, became an integral part of the Prophet's family and his household. But the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, did not stop at honoring Salman verbally. He took an active role in freeing him from slavery. He made an agreement with Salman's Jewish master that Salman would be freed in exchange for planting 300 date palms and paying a certain amount of gold, a request that the Jewish master considered excessive. Despite this, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, did not leave Salman to face this burden alone. He personally participated in planting the palm trees with his blessed hands, making this act a symbol of solidarity and brotherhood. In the end, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, gifted Salman a piece of gold to complete his ransom, and Salman was freed from the chains of slavery thanks to this generous support. After his liberation, Salman became an active member of the emerging Islamic community, quickly proving his competence in one of the most critical moments, the Battle of the Trench. In the 5th year of Hijra, the Quraysh, the Arab tribes, and their allies from the Jews gathered a mighty army of 10,000 fighters, threatening to invade Medina, while the Muslims were in a defensive position with no more than 3,000 fighters. The danger was imminent, and the city was at risk of a fierce invasion. At that time, Salman Al-Farsi proposed an unprecedented idea in the Arabian Peninsula. He suggested digging a trench around the city to protect it from the attack of the Confederates, a military tactic he had witnessed in Persia. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, approved of this idea and ordered its immediate implementation. Thus, the Muslims, under the leadership of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and Salman, began digging the trench around the vulnerable areas of the city. When the armies of the Confederates, Azab, arrived, they were surprised by the trench, as the Arabs had never faced such a strategy before. They attempted to siege the city for more than a month, but the trench and the defensive organization prevented them from breaching it. Despite the numerous challenges, such as food shortages and harsh conditions, the Muslims continued to defend. Eventually, Allah sent a powerful wind that overturned the tents of the Confederates and caused chaos in their ranks, forcing them to retreat without victory. This victory, by the grace of Allah and thanks to Salman's suggestion, marked a turning point in the course of Islamic history. The Muslims managed to avoid a defeat that seemed imminent, and Salman al-Farsi's name was cemented as one of the key heroes of this battle. The story of Salman al-Farsi is indeed a powerful reminder that the search for truth, no matter how long or difficult, is never in vain. From his early life in Persia, where he grew up in the worship of fire, to his eventual discovery of the truth in the city of Yathrib, Medina, Salman's journey was filled with hardship and sacrifice. His unwavering pursuit of knowledge, despite the challenges he faced, eventually led him to Islam, where his contributions played a crucial role in its victory and growth. Salman's deep faith, insight, and wisdom, along with his persistence and patience, made him one of the most respected figures in Islamic history. His story is not just a historical account, but a lesson in the importance of staying true to one's quest for truth and remaining steadfast in the face of adversity. As we reflect on Salman al-Farsi's journey, we are reminded that the pursuit of truth requires effort, sacrifice, and faith, and that God guides those whom He wills to His light. His story continues to inspire people today, showing that the truth is always worth seeking, no matter the obstacles in the way. If you enjoyed and benefited from this story, don't forget to show your support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more inspiring historical stories.